Dalek44's third Q&A response show! May I present to you a man who needs no introduction but got one anyway, Dalek44! Yay! Hooray!
Thank you very much everybody, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my third Q&A response video. And before I start, I want to thank all of you for the questions that you've sent in. There's been so many questions this year, I honestly didn't expect this many for my third Q&A video. But thank you guys for all the questions you've been asking for my third Q&A. And let's not beat around the bush and get started. So let's get started, Unikitty.
Dun, 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 dun. YouTube! Engine number 14 asks, how did you come up with the idea for TTT series and Second Co?
Well, when I originally came up with the idea for Second Co and TTT, they were originally supposed to be the Time Friends, as I've said in my 300th video celebration. Second Co was originally going to be a show called The Time Friends, which was basically showing the 10th Doctor, Captain Jack Harkness and K9 living with other Doctor Who characters in a flat in the city of Celebwood. And for some strange reason I had the idea that the Flat Controller would be the owner of the flat building. And then the Thomas series was going to be a spin-off show called The Railways of Celebwood. But back then I had very little idea of what I was getting myself into, and the only things that survive of any of those original pitches is the introduction, the opening titles of The Time Friends. That's all that survives of those original content. But because TTT was so popular and Second Co was so popular in TTT, I decided to spin them off into their own show called Second Co. And I got to expand on their personalities a lot in Second Co, but of course they got no screen time. Even though the characters do get a certain amount of screen time in some episodes of TTT, they get even more screen time when it's their own show. So TTT and Second Co started off as early projects that never saw the light of day.
Crane Productions 27 asks, where did your Second Co series idea come from?
Well, most of the ideas for Second Co in the beginning was basically stuff that came straight out of my head, like stuff that was all unscripted. And for a lot of the videos back then, you could tell that it was all unscripted. Other ideas were based off of other shorts that were done before, like the Homestar Runner Date Night and a lot of other Homestar Runner videos. And for the main episodes, it was really a mixture of various comedy shows I've seen before. Like, there's bits of Blackadder in there, and there's some bits of other comedies I've seen. But the main drive for most of the episodes is really only Fools and Horses, because that was what Second Co was originally based on. Just like these people that are trying to make money and make a living. And that's really where the idea for Second Co came from. Just a mix of various comedies as well as only Fools and Horses being the main drive for it.
TCW22 Genesis Prague asks, how long does it take to make a video, e.g. Second Co?
That's a very good question. Well, depending on how busy I am with my outside life, like my job and family ordeals and just outings with some mates, it usually takes a month or two to finish a long animated video. But for a review it don't take me that long, because all I've got to do for that is record my lines and record myself sitting at my desk and then put it all together with some pictures. And that normally takes either 1 or 2 weeks. So animated videos, depending on how long they are, a couple of weeks or a month, and reviews and editorials, a week or 2.
Crane Productions 27 also asks, which voice actors inspired you to do voice work?
Oh my god, so many actors have inspired me to do voice work. One of the obvious inspirations was Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices. And other inspirations were Paul Winchell, who used to voice Dick Dastardly in Wacky Races and Dastardly and Muttley and their Flying Machines. And pretty much every single cast member in The Simpsons. Who else? And Frank Welker. Definitely Frank Welker, because he's in pretty much everything you've ever seen. Rob Paulson, because he was also in everything since the 80s and 90s. And Jim Cummins is a great inspiration, because like Frank Welker and Rob Paulson, he was in pretty much everything since throughout the 80s and 90s. So yeah, there were so many voice actors that inspired me to do voice work, but the main drive was Mel Blanc, the man of 1,000 voices who used to voice the Looney Tunes. So yeah, those are my main inspirations for voice work.
Duck the GWR Lord 2003 asks, what is your most hated episode of TTTE?
Well, I don't exactly have a most hated episode of my Thomas series, but the one video for TTT I really dislike these days is the It's Seriously Force video that I did a couple of years ago. Like, so many years ago I did that video. And thinking back at it now, it's not really the best video I've ever made. Like, the paint work I did on it on Microsoft Paint are really rushed and they look crappy compared to the artwork I do today. And that video was really rushed out because I was really bored and just wanted to do something at the time. So, It Seriously Force isn't really my best work, but what can you do? It's the only way you'll learn. Oh, that was a really stupid idea. I don't know why I thought of it in the first place.
Eli JB asks, will there be a dramatic story in Second Co like in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated?
Well, I haven't really got any dramatic storylines planned for Second Co like what they did in Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. But I guess it could happen. Yeah, it could happen in the near future. I just need to think of an idea and decide, think of a couple of ideas and decide which one would be the best one to use for a dramatic storyline. So, even though I don't know for sure, it is a possibility in the future.
Robin Van One asks, for your videos, are you looking for more voice actors? If so, I'm willing to help voice some characters.
Gromit Fan 01, I'm always looking for new voice actors for new characters. Because I tend to voice a lot of the main characters and side characters in my videos, and it's a lot of hard work for my voice, and I want to try and find some new voice actors. So yeah, if I think of a new character that you could voice, then I'll give you a tinkle, mate. Okay, so what's the next question?
Suingshin asks, which is your most favorite Second Co episode you've made with me starring in it? It says you made with Unikitty starring in it, but it would sound weird for me saying my name like that.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Most favourite Second Co episode with Unikitty in it? Well, for me, I like all the episodes with Unikitty in them, because I really enjoy working with Boris Fangirl, who does a terrific job as her. But if I had to pick a favourite, I'd have to say my most favourite would be Unikitty's Christmas Surprise, because that was a Christmas project that I've had the most fun working on so far. I have fun working on all my Christmas projects in general, but this was one that I've had the most fun so far. And it was just great fun to record myself narrating the story every now and then in front of the Christmas tree, because that was an idea I've wanted to do for a long time, but I never got the chance to do it until then. And it was also a good way for me to mix up various Christmas specials from comedies I've seen in the past. Like, there's bits of Blackadder's Christmas Carol in there, and there's even some bits that Husky Fan 41 put in there as extras, and I really love you for doing that, man. But the episode that has the most references to is the Fireman Sam Christmas episode, Snow Business. Because I wanted to make some references to that Fireman Sam Christmas episode for years, and this gave me the chance to do so. So this is definitely the Unikitty episode I've had the most fun working on.
Eli JB also asks, will Second Co have a bad guy / villain?
Well, to be honest, mate, Second Co already have bad guys and villains in it. Like, the first villains that were introduced to the show were the Robbers, led by the Chief and often accompanied by his henchmen, who were obviously based off of Chief Weasel and henchmen from Crossroad Falls, Wind in the Willows. And every now and then, Dick Dastardly and Muttley would pop up every now and then. So Second Co already has bad guys and villains. It's just a very rare occasion that you see Dastardly and Muttley pop up in the show.
Jelly Toy Productions Official asks, I really enjoy your shows, Second Co and TTTE. So would you ever make feature full-length films for either one?
Oh, thanks, JT. I'm really glad you're enjoying my shows. And as for feature-length films, I do have plans to make a feature-length film for at least one of them, or at least try to make a feature-length film, because feature-length films are a really big challenge for filmmakers, like animated films and live-action films in general. But if I was to make a feature-length film based on either one of the shows, then I guess my plan would be to make a feature-length film for at least one of the shows, see how popular that gets, and then if I can think of a good enough story, then I'll make a feature film for the other show. But yeah, feature-length films for either one of the shows, or possibly both, is a possibility in the future. It's just thinking of a good story that would translate into a feature film. So it's a possibility, yeah.
The Kid Pirates asks, have you seen Little Children? If so, can you add some of the characters from it in TTT and Second Co?
I gotta be honest with you, mate. I have absolutely no idea what Wolf Children is.
Locomotives asks, what's your favorite Second Co video you filmed?
Well, I've already mentioned that my favourite Christmas episode was the Unikitty Christmas special with Unikitty's Christmas surprise, because that was one I've had the most fun working on. But besides from that being my top favourite Unikitty related episode, I like all the Second Co videos that I've worked on. I mean, I have a really fun time working on each project. But the one I've had the most fun working on was Unikitty's Christmas surprise, because that was quite a big project at the time, and I love working on big new projects. So, the favourite one I've filmed is still Unikitty's Christmas surprise.
Toyer Toys asks, have you done your top 10 favorite Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends episodes yet?
No, I haven't done a top favourite Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends episodes just yet. But that is a possibility for the future. Like for something Thomas related outside of Thomas and Sember. But if I were to do top favourite episodes list, I might either mash them all up together or possibly do it series by series, just to mix things up a little bit. So yeah, top favourite Thomas the Tank Engine episodes list is a possibility for the future.
The Kid Pirates also asks, will you make an episode of Second Co where Second the Gang goes to Disneyland?
If I could think of some good comedy for it, maybe.
Kevin Devaney asks, if you were to someday make a dedication video to Thomas director Dave Mitton, what would you like to say?
Well, I kind of already did do a dedication video to David Mitton. When I did the TTT episode Ghosts, I dedicated that entire episode to David Mitton. So, to answer your question, I already did do a dedication to David Mitton.
Garrett Lesueur says, do you think you'll do any top 10 lists regarding steam locomotives like Christopher Kovacs and Jim Vanderkolk did when they made their top list for extinct steam locomotives and retired steam construction stars?
That's a very good question. Well, my most favourite locomotive at the moment is the A4 locomotives, because I have a lot of fond memories of watching documents with them and seeing them at the National Railway Museum in York. But doing a top list of favourite steam locomotives is a possibility for my channel, since I'm a great lover of steam engines. So it's a possibility, yeah.
Tank Engine 97 also asks, what shows and films would you like to review next?
Anything I feel like reviewing, really.
LNER Engine 264 asks, have you seen any Thomas Brand series by 200 Mikey, The Railway Inspector 3, and Knuckles?
Well, if I'm completely honest, I've never watched the series by 200 Mikey or The Railway Inspector 3, but I have watched Knuckles' series on Soda Island forums as well as YouTube. And they were just some of the most enjoyable adult Thomas series I've ever seen. Like, besides Captain Punjab's Thomas the Badgerman engine, Knuckles' series was really entertaining in a very adult way. And I especially loved how he did his episode based off of Off the Rails. So Knuckles was a creative genius, and I think it's really sad that he hasn't done as many episodes these days. But for now, I love all the episodes he has done. So yeah, I really enjoy Knuckles' series, but really ought to try and get into the other two users' series.
Scottish Locomotive 76 asks, seeing as Doctor Who insists in your Thomas / Second Co universe, have you ever considered making Second Co meets the Doctor Who exec?
If I could come up with funny enough ideas, it could happen, yeah.
Kevin Devaney also asks, have you thought of doing any more anniversary reviews like for certain movies, i.e. Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
That's a very good question. The last anniversary review I did was of Thomas and the Magic Railroad for its 15th anniversary. Well, I say review, it was more like a redo review where I go into a bit more details with what might have been in the director's cut. So other anniversary reviews could happen in the future. So yeah, it is a possibility.
LNER Engine 264 also asks, what do you think of Enterprising Engine 93 series?
I think his series is very creative, and I love the fact that, like me, he uses wooden railway engines for the series. And he seems to do his work a lot more professionally than I can, because I don't have as much to work with like he does. But I still plough on through, and I really admire the work he does. So yeah, I really do enjoy Enterprising Engine's 93 series. It's really good fun to watch, and I recommend it for any Thomas fan out there.
Kevin Devaney also asks, do you wish to do some top 10 Disney and or Thomas lists at some point?
Well, I did already say that I would like to do some top 10 Thomas lists. But for Disney, that is a possibility, because I did used to watch a lot of Disney films when I was a kid. And there's just so many that I love watching more than most, and I really want to try and get into doing some more Disney related reviews, because the most I've done was the Mickey Mouse projects like House of Mouse, Mickey's Christmas Carol, the new Mickey Mouse shorts. So I do want to try and do some more Disney related reviews. So yeah, that's a possibility for the future.
Rezo2612 Studios asks, would you do a crossover episode with Dalek and Sonic the Hedgehog fighting against Dr. Robotnik and Dick Dastardly?
Haha, now that does sound like a challenge. If I can think of a good enough story with good enough jokes and just make it work, then it's a possibility for the future, because I love Sonic the Hedgehog and Dr. Robotnik. And I could do more videos with Sonic in cameos and main roles, especially now I have his Lego minifigure from Lego Dimensions. So that's another possibility for the future, because of my love for Second Co, Dick Dastardly and Muttley, and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jelly Toy Productions Officials also asks, have you heard of Brown Groat Films, Bad Rider Alumni, and Rama Fool?
I'm afraid I have not heard of any of those users before. So I can't really answer that fully, because I never really heard of them. Sorry.
LNER Engine 264 also asks, are you sad that Miss Oliver Blossom is leaving the Thomas community?
When he first announced that he was leaving the Thomas community, I was kind of sad that he was decided to leave after so many years of many fans watching him. But I honestly respect his choice to leave it, because it became, for like a lot of creators, it just became a bit of a strain for him to work on with all the stuff he's been going through that he's been talking about in his previous videos for his Moab channel and his The Wilsonator channel. Plus he's moved on to the Brony fandom, so I respect his opinions, but I do miss his Thomas work dearly. But on the bright side, we still got his old work to look back on and remember how great his Thomas series was.